What is a parody? Well, to put it bluntly, it's the art of taking something popular we like, be it a movie or a show, and look at the pros and cons through that of mocking it or acknowledging what we like about it through humor. For a while, parodies were big moneymakers and all-time classics. Airplane, The Naked Gun trilogy, Hot Shots 1 and 2, Top Secret, The Princess Bride, many more from Mel Brooks' grand catalog. These movies understood how to analyze the genres we like through humor and unbelievably clever writing. But then something happened after the release of Spy Hard. For whatever reason, after that film, any spoof movies that came out were low-grade endeavors that barely put in the effort they once proudly put out. To make things worse, even the spoof legends of the past were losing their magic touch, with movies like Mafia and Dracula Dead and Loving It being major box office and critical bombs. But then came Keenan Avery Wayans with Scary Movie. When it first released on July 7th, 2000, it was a smash hit. Everybody thought this would save parody films, but instead, it worsened the parody landscape for the remainder of the 2000s, all led by two of the movie's writers, the infernal duo of Jason Friedberg and Aaron Seltzer. How bad are these movies?
Yeah! What the Flavor Flav, yeah!
One of them is on a list of not just the worst parody of all time or one of the worst films of that year, but as one of the worst movies of all time, period. And since I somehow decided to punish myself for all the positive reviews I made thus far, let's go through them. It doesn't matter which film I'm gonna choose, they're all exactly the same. This is a review of all the movies by Friedberg and Seltzer, usually referred to as the movie movies.
Help me!
You know, in most reviews, I try to balance out the positive with the negatives or the other way around. Well, for this review, don't expect me to be kind to these movies. They are that bad. I've not seen all their movies aside from Disaster Movie back when I was 13, since I have remarkably better things to do with my life. But I have seen reviews on the internet. A moment of silence for the reviewers' lost hours watching these train wrecks. And it gave me insight on how bad they were. And that Disaster Movie was just as bad as I remember. But while I didn't have to watch all the movies or look at clips of them for myself, the editors had to for clip selections, meaning they had to sit through all the gross out humor and sex jokes spread throughout these movies. I'm sorry, guys. Friedberg and Seltzer are what happens when a group of morons decide to grab a camera and make a comedy with stuff that makes them laugh. Gross out jokes, sex jokes, sexualized women, clothed or unclothed, party music, gore and violence, body shaming, swearing. These are all basically movies directed by frat boys. I usually have no problem with this kind of stuff in a movie, so long as they have a point narratively. Friedberg and Seltzer just seem to put them because they want to prove that they're adult and edgy, only to come across as just immature in the process. In fact, in the Kadikarus video, The Forbidden World of Banned Video Games, when he reviewed the Guy game, Caddy decided to look at the behind the scenes of the game and came across this photo. This guy is exactly whom I imagine being a fan of these films. Oh, but don't worry, there are times when they parody movies, shows, or other stuff.
Oh my God, you shot me, guy! That really hurts! Why would you do that? That was so unnecessary!
I didn't say they were good, I said they were there. In fact, let's compare and contrast with an American Gladiator reference. Here's that reference from Hot Shots Part 2. And now here's that same reference in Disaster Movie.
Things are heating up for the war. I just opened a Target in Reseda. In my own brand of BBQ sauce. I'm calling it Whoop BBQ sauce.
On top of them referencing a version of it that was cancelled the same year it was brought back, you see how one movie makes the reference fly by quickly and flow into the scene to make the joke work, while the other just drags on and 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 just want to scream, alright, I get it. That's how all their jokes work. They don't really parody or mock the work as much as acknowledge them, and then do nothing actually funny with them other than make the reference. And as agonizingly slow as one can, on top of having actors in dollar store cosplays, might I add. Also, every time I see one or more attractive women in the scene, whether naked or clothed, I can't help but picture the directors going, I don't find it sexy, I find it annoying. Nostalgia Critic joked in his epic movie review that the idea of these films might be to figure out which director got less sex, and honestly, I can't help but think that he might be right. That and the fact that there are actors appearing in these films that are actually funny and do not deserve to appear in these movies. Like, at all. But boy, that must be one hefty check to pay the rent, eh?
I hated this movie. Hated this movie. Hated it. Hated this movie. Hated this movie. Hated it.
There were even rumors that the filmmakers didn't even see the films that they were parodying. They just looked at frames from behind the scenes photos and decided to make it look like that. This would certainly explain a lot. That's not how you do a parody, by the way. Oh, also, 2 of these movies make a reference to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie dating, and like all the jokes in the film, they do nothing with the material. Yes, they dated. That's mainly the start of the joke in this case, not the punchline. Side note, so many celebrities they mock, whether due to changing times or mentality or recent controversies surrounding them, looking at you, Diddy and Kanye, make the film age about as bad as, well, I would say milk, but I think there's nothing left of these spoiled products to recognize it as milk by that point. Oh, by the way, I should mention the joke they wrote for their Aslan knockoff in Epic Movie.
Lie man, half lion, half man.
So you mean you're...
My father, Siegfried, boinked a lion.
Siegfried and Roy used tigers, you numpties, not lions. You guys can't even tell the difference between a lion and a tiger. Did you drop out of kindergarten? How did they keep making movies until 2015 when they sucked that hard at comedy and basic animology? Who in their right mind would keep hiring them? Good comedy is dead and these 2 idiots kill it. Nothing good can happen in this world. It's on topsy-turvy to the point of no return. My apologies for that outburst. I just don't get how they kept making terrible movies and still made bank. Now that I've calmed down, let's keep going. Or concluding in this case, because I can't keep going. I'll just say this. You know those slop memes going online as of late? Allow me to give you actual fading contenders. Meet the Spartans, Epic Movie, Disaster Movie, Date Movie, Vampire Sucks, The Starving Game, Superfast. They have no historical significance compared to those put in the memes. We much prefer to let them fade into obscurity and be forgotten by time, and they do nothing other than reduce your brain to mush or annoy you. Thank God no more movies are coming out soon, because I don't know how much of these I can take. Announcement of Scary Movie 6. Yeah, had to ruin my optimism, didn't you, universe? All in all, please don't watch them. I am actually begging you, stay away from these movies. They have no change in their formula, they are beyond anger-inducing and are a stain on the good name of parody. On the other hand, might I suggest actual good parodies that came out around the time of these movies? My personal favorite being the Cornetto trilogy. On top of actually being funny, these 3 movies are incredibly smart and well written.
You didn't see anything suspicious, and who did?
As for the entire Friedberg and Seltzer filmography, these films suck, that's all I need to say. I'm up to write the next review, hopefully something better than these films. Bye!